from Brooklyn, New York. You can't spell artisanal without anal. It's Arts Insight with Andrew Guidone. Tonight, singer and songwriter Clarence Bucaro. And now, a man more twisted than the Coney Island Cyclone ride, Andrew Guidone.
Welcome to Arts Insight. I'm Andrew. Here on the show, we feature some of New York's finest neighborhood talent from all 5 boroughs of New York City, and I'm very glad you could join us today. We're not having a yard sale. No, everything must not go. What you see here is not... Well, it is for sale, and it certainly is for rental, but we are here in the lovely confines of Film Biz Recycling in the Gowanus/Park Slope area of Brooklyn. These guys do wonderful work. They are our new space sponsor. The work they do is great. You know, the film business can be very wasteful when they throw out their propage. The public and other people in the film and indie biz alike can come by, look at the great furniture here, and recycle furniture, recannibalize old, film sets or props or things that maybe your grandpa or grandma once owned. Or
there's ceramics here, there's old technology here, there's cameras in the back.
Well, it's a movement. It's a definite
vintage clothing.
Definite movement.
Nice.
It means we should take stock of what we have and recycle. There's no reason to throw out something that's perfectly good and usable for yet another production shoot. Mm-hmm. So we applaud Eva and Film Biz Recycling and thank them for the alliance. Tonight's guest is a Cleveland native, now living in Brooklyn's DUMBO. An acclaimed singer and songwriter, he shared his gift with audiences nationally and internationally. His sound has been compared to the likes of Jackson Browne, John Mayer, and Van Morrison, and certainly he's shared the stage with the best and the brightest, with legends like Aaron Neville, Chrissie Hynde, Cowboy Junkies, and Fountains of Wayne. With impressive range, the songs he writes about are as diverse as his singing styles, touching on topics like poverty, war, religion, and even love. His 5th album, and while taking a break from his 100-show-a-year tour, he's come to join us on the show, and it's certainly a pleasure to have him. Please welcome Clarence Bucaro.
How do you grow up, child of war? Tell me, how do you grow up, child of war? When you learn that people disappear so fast in a world where lives can end in a flash, and how will you grow up, child of war? And where do you find hope, child of war? Tell me, where do you find hope, child of war? And what you see today may be gone tomorrow, and mercy's a stranger when you only know sorrow. And where do you find hope, child of war? And what do you see through those eyes? Tell me, what do you see through those eyes? You see blood for blood and limb for limb, and there's no way out, vengeance wins. And what do you see through those eyes? And who is there to feed you when your father's gone? Tell me, who is there to feed you when your father's gone? You have to learn to steal and learn to run, You can't look back at who you're stealing from, and who is there to feed you when your father's gone. And why does a child strap on a bum? Tell me, why does a child pick up a gun? Does he picture glory in a future gray? Is he used and abandoned in a game that replays? And why does a child strap on a bum? Oh, child of war.
Thank you.
She could walk the same mile that you walk and never utter a word. You'd never hear her whine or complain, but it'd be fine if she did. You might pass her today on a train, on a street, in a car, but you'd never really know the distance she's traveled thus far. Like a rose of Jericho, born in a hard place, but she's learned how to grow. Like a rose of Jericho, may her feet always hold her up strong. Though the road may be long, may her hope stay alive. For a rose of Jericho. In the desert, the sun beams down on the shimmering sand. She's covered in black down to the tips of her hands. She dreams about places with names like Paris and Spain. And someday she may get there. Today she's just praying for rain. Like a rose of Jericho, born in a hard place, but she's learned how to grow. Like a rose of Jericho, may her feet always hold her up strong. Though the road may be long, may her hope stay alive. Like a rose of Jericho. I followed her eyes as she scanned the steps of her feet. must feel strange. This place called New York, sea of concrete. For a rose of Jericho, born in a hard place, but she's learned how to grow like a rose of Jericho. May her feet always hold her up strong. Though the road may be long, may her hope stay alive. For a rose of Jericho. For a rose.
Thank you.
There's a house somewhere you'd least expect, with a family you've always seen, living their lives the way we do, as normal as it seems. But there's a woman inside who can't stop crying, and she told her story to me. She's been keeping such a dangerous secret, like holding to a loaded gun. She's been keeping such a dangerous secret. The truth inside is gonna hurt someone. She's never felt right in her own skin. She's never fit into her own shoes. And when she hears her name being called, it doesn't ring quite true. And there's a voice inside she's been forced to hide, and is dying to be set free. She's been keeping such a dangerous secret, been feeling such a dangerous way. Can't go on like this forever. She don't know if she can take the change. She says, I'm not the person everybody thinks I am. I've always felt like this. Could you understand? And is it gonna be the end or a brand new start? Will I find open arms or broken heart? She's been keeping such a dangerous secret, like holding to a loaded gun. She's been keeping such a dangerous secret, and she wishes she could tell everyone. She's been carrying around this heavy secret. It's been breaking her down to her knees. Needs to find some way to lose it. Find out who she's gonna be. Wants to dump it on this dirty street. Wishes she could leave it here at her feet.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Clarence Bucaro. Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to our audience of 2. We love you, I think, sort of. So great job tonight. Do tell us about the 3 songs that you sang tonight.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the song Ciao the War, I actually wrote about children in conflict zones and suicide bombers, actually, after a trip to Israel and Palestine. Then Rose of Jericho is the story of an immigrant's journey. I had written part of the song in New York and then part of it while I was abroad, and it was tracing the journey of an immigrant from wherever she had come from in this situation to New York. And then the third one is Dangerous Secret, and that one actually a friend of mine is a story about a friend of mine who had written a letter to me saying that she had felt like she was living in the wrong body her whole life and was contemplating making a transition. And so it was, she had written me this letter about how it was a secret for all these years, and I was inspired to write a song for her.
So good, well-rounded, thought-provoking songs that everyone can enjoy. Things about identity issues, certainly.
Yeah, gender
consciousness, even love, for that matter.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about Cleveland, because we know a lot of good, respectable artists, especially in the music industry. Cleveland's been huge. So that's a big legacy to follow for you. When did you catch that music bug, and how? What drew you to songwriting?
I'm from Cleveland, and like you said, there actually is quite a celebrated history. I think a lot of people don't realize that, but Cleveland had some really, and still has, but had some really great stuff happening right on the verge of when rock and roll really took off. The reason the Rock Hall of Fame there is because it really was a testing grounds for a lot of bands. Before they would send them to the big city markets, they would send them to Cleveland and Detroit, and that's why those towns had such great underground music scenes. I would say I caught it when my older brother used to travel a lot, and he would come home on his motorcycle, and he would sing these songs and always introduced new music to me, and I was always deeply inspired by him. And so I started writing probably as young as I can remember, but professionally probably in college. But kind of music was always a major part of my life.
Nice, good. We all learn from our siblings.
Absolutely.
Even if I, started taking up piano just to spite you, Ellen. Sorry, my sister. But that's great. I mean, what really moves you to write these songs that you do? How did that come about, where you decided, this is my destiny to tell other people's stories or my own stories?
Well, storytelling has always been, songwriting was kind of always my outlet. It was always my way, I felt, to tell people stories, to tell my own stories. And like any piece of art, to me, it feels like the mission is to get to the heart of the matter and then to tell what you've learned. So for me, it just, songs were what inspired me, and I learned so much from music growing up and still do every day. So I just basically am following what I learned from and trying to tell stories and tell what I'm learning, what I see, what I'm feeling, and so on.
Well, good. It certainly resonates with us.
Thank you.
We identify with your point of view.
All right.
And that's good thing.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the sound, though, and the kinds of music that has influenced that sound.
I like a lot of old soul, Curtis Mayfield, Marvin Gaye, Al Green, Gil Scott-Heron. I like a lot of, I'd say my go-to guys are Dylan, Van Morrison, really all sorts of stuff, but kind of older stuff. I'm really kind of a student of the older music, old country, New Orleans music, old gospel. My mother was a preacher's daughter, so there was always kind of there's always music around. My dad owned a classical station, or was a DJ for it, so really just whatever I heard I was absorbing. And yeah, it just kind of happens to be the older stuff that I still really gravitate towards, though.
And throughout all of them, they all have stories to tell, a lot of stories to tell.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the fun thing about it, whether they are poetic, like, the Dylans and Van Morrisons and things like that, or whether they date long ago from a very simple story about broken,
Right, Hank Williams, or yeah, absolutely.
So it's a nice range. No wonder we hear that influence.
Yeah, well, there's so much great stuff out there. There's still, there's a lot of good new stuff out, too, but I feel like you could always still find somebody that did something years ago that is just mind-blowing always. So there's always so much to dig into.
And there's keeping up with the pace of things, especially when it comes to your extensive year-long tour.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a proud dad now, if you don't mind us telling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Of course, family time now, I mean, you have to sort of balance a little bit, the passion of your music and this, and...
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. It's, I find, though, and I'm home with them during the day, which used to be the time where I was writing and... being creative, so it's different, but I will say in the time that I do find, I'm much more economical with working and writing, and I find that what used to take me maybe 3 days to do, now I can do in 2-3 hours, because you have no choice. So, and it's been being a father has been very inspirational towards the way I write. It makes it so that it kind of cuts the fat in general. You basically I don't think as much, and that's sometimes a really good thing in art. Sometimes I get too cerebral, and now it's just kind of feeling really natural right now. So
I've heard that from parents, and see if you agree with this or not, that it's just that you compartmentalize your time much more. Friends of mine who now are very much parents, very much have kids, they have to make better use of their time no matter what.
Yeah.
And like you said, it maybe does keep you on your toes much more in all respects, in all aspects.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I mean, there is then the just flat out reality that you have so much less time. But when, but you learn how to do all your stuff really fast and how to cut all the time wasting stuff. So I would agree.
As you grow an older and wiser parent, it is getting to the heart. Cutting the fat, and, and you already empathize with what many generations before you have gone through, because you're older now and you've seen it. So
right.
It's, I guess there's wisdom too. I mean, it's a good thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, here's the thing I'd like to know. I really like Freddie Johnston, by the way. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, okay.
Met my, my girlfriend and I. That was our first concert.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was awesome. What was it like to work with the guy?
It was great. We had met through a publisher at the time was suggesting that we write together. So we just met through that and hit it off really well. And he was a really awesome thinker. Like, he just kind of came in. He was so confident. He came into my house and just waltzed right in, like he knew where he was going, and was just very forward and fast with the way he worked. And we started a little musical relationship, and it was great. It was really great to work with him, for sure. It was fast, easy, and really cool. We came up with really good stuff right away.
Excellent. Excellent. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I definitely like the guy's askew sense of humor too. I mean, I see plenty of it sometimes at his shows. So
yeah. He's got a little dark sense of humor, and absolutely, yeah.
Sometimes it comes out in the music, but yeah. Yeah. But cool. I'm glad you had that relationship encounter and so on.
Absolutely.
So July and August is fast upon us. Where can we catch you during those months?
I'm kind of going to be. My summer schedule isn't entirely set yet, but I'm going to be returning to the Midwest, Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, probably Milwaukee, and I'm going to Europe in September and October,
And then I'll be doing New York shows, and I do a regular residency at a great little place in Brooklyn called 68 J Street, which is kind of my local neighborhood bar, and I love it. I do every last Saturday of the month, so I guess I'm not sure the dates in July and August, but I'll be doing that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a great little bar in DUMBO, and it's really low key and fun.
Cool. And naturally, if you want to find out more about Clarence's whereabouts and his tour and his New York appearances, you can go to his website at clarencebucaro.com. Clarence, a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, Andrew.
You sounded wonderful tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Clarence Bucaro, everyone. We'll be right back. Naturally, if you have questions, comments, hate mail, death threats, they can all be made to the Arts Insight hotline. The number is here on your screen. And yes, there's also our website where you can check out our Vimeo clips and much more at artsinsight.com.
We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say.
Really want to hear from you.
We want the love.
We want the love, and we need it bad. Thank you for watching Arts Insight. Make it a good one, and have a good night.
See you soon.
And don't drink and drive. Or don't bike and drive, rather. That's very bad.